Why have Roald Dahl stories been rewritten?
My first exposure to comedy was through reading Roald Dahl books. I couldn't get enough. The wordplay and structure was and still is exquisite. For the publisher's Puffin to change it in Roald Dahl's absence for whatever reason is sacrilege. Outside of old antiquated racial slurs, if you are offended by a children's book, you're a fucking idiot. Publisher's Puffin, why Puffin by the way, feels a bit birdest to me, tasked a team of sensitivity readers to morally improve Roald Dahl's stories so that no child will ever feel affronted by his judgemental language. The very judgemental language that has made tens of millions of apparently far-right schoolchildren laugh for decades. Some of the changes are simply ridiculous. Augustus Gloop in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is no longer fat, he's enormous. Doesn't even have the same meaning. Aunt Sponge in James and the Giant Peach is no longer terrifically fat and tremendously flabby. She's just a nasty old brute. I'd rather be flabby than a brute. Mental. Mrs. Twit in the Twits isn't ugly and beastly anymore, just beastly. What's wrong with ugly and fat as descriptors? I'd struggle to write a Tinder bio. On and on it goes. All the fun stuff. The beloved Oompa Loompas are no longer tiny, titchy, and no higher than a knee. They're just small. And they're not small men anymore. They're small people. Gender neutral Oompa Loompas. Fuck my old boots, doopity-doo. Loads of supposedly problematic references to gender have been purged. Boys and girls are now children. The cloud men in James and the Giant Peach are cloud people. Fantastic Mr. Fox's 3 sons are now 3 daughters. Why in the name of Rudyard Kipling's cakes, I know he doesn't sell cakes, do we keep telling the world that boys are bad? Dahl wanted him to have sons. We need sons. Or is the plan for the last remaining men to wank into a test tube before being cold? All this would make you think that there is an external pressure on the publishers to make changes. But there is zero evidence of this. This is an example of mass groupthink. In a central metropolitan office, there will be a group of people thinking exactly the same thing and all with a sense they need to save the world from a problem that doesn't exist. Write your own stuff. Leave the good stuff alone to stand the test of time on its own.
This has been all over the internet over the past couple of days. Roald Dahl, of course, the beloved children's author, has had his books rewritten by the publisher Puffin. Now, we've got some examples here, so let's have a look what we're talking about. So this one first from the edition of The Witches. So the first edition says, "Don't be foolish, my grandmother said. You can't go round pulling the hair of every lady you meet, even if she is wearing gloves. Just you try it and see what happens." And that's now changed to, "Don't be foolish, my grandmother said. Besides, there are plenty of other reasons why women might wear wigs, and there is certainly nothing wrong with that." Great. Wonderful. And this also from The Witches. "Even if she is working as a cashier in a supermarket or typing letters for a businessman." That has now changed to, "Even if she is working as a top scientist or running a business." Nice little feminist edge to that one. And from the original Matilda, we've got, "She went on, on olden day sailing ships with Joseph Conrad. She went to Africa with Ernest Hemingway and to India with Rudyard Kipling." And that's become, "She went to 19th century estates with Jane Austen. She went to Africa with Ernest Hemingway and California with John Steinbeck." So this isn't just censoring the bits that are perceived to be problematic. This is actually rewriting, and it's not as good. Let's just first say that. I mean, it's not as good.
You've got to admire the ego of somebody who thinks that they can take Roald Dahl books and be like, "No, I know how we can improve this."
Yeah.
I mean, it's an absolute nonsense. What are they going to do next? Are they going to take some felt tips to the Mona Lisa? Are they going to
make a smile a bit more clear?
Put a sunroof in the Sistine Chapel?
Yeah.
You know, could we carve a vagina into Michelangelo's statue of David? It's where's this going to end?